So what happened in Yellowstone on July 24th? So July 23rd, there you go. We had a hydrothermal explosion, and let's see what it looks like. So this was a video that's from the USGS YouTube channel. So let's see if I can make this bigger for you. And there we go. So here you could see we have sediments and rocks exploding in the air. And then we have all of this. Let's see if I can bring it back a little bit. And after that, we have the steam. Now here, you have to keep in mind that we did not have a volcanic eruption in Yellowstone. It is just a situation where we had superheated water that found a way closer to the surface, and then due to lower pressure, expanded very quickly. So this is what happened, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more. So here I'll continue the video, and there we go. This is a great map from the USGS. So here we have the two pools here. So here we had pools where we had bubbly water. I would not be surprised that we had also a pool of water. Here it says black opal pool and the black diamond pool. So here, most likely they were a bit darker colored, but we had most likely very clear water coming through. Issues, we had the explosion. So you could see we had here a jewel geyser. So the geyser was here before. Here we have a pool of water coming to the surface that is very hot and most likely coming down and being reheated again. So the big question is, what is happening in Yellowstone to create such drastic, or how much energy is right there? So let's look at some pictures. I think it's always fun. So here we have on Flickr, Yellowstone National Park pictures showing us what we have right now. So let's see if we can look at this picture. We're going to see if we can make them a bit bigger for you. Excellent. So let's look at this. So here you could see how this is we call it the Biscuit Crater, I think, right here. So this is a plain where it's very flat, but we have hydrothermal water coming through the surface. But we had an explosion, and you could see the debris that is on the path right here. So here again, we have here this one pool here and the second pool where the explosion occurred. Now there's water in that valley because here there's a river right here. So we have cool water running on the surface. This water is coming down cracks further down on the ground, and the water is being heated up, and then it heats up and it comes back to the surface with a change of density. So we're going to look at some pictures, and then we're going to look at what is going on with respect to volcanism in Yellowstone. So what's happening, what is a caldera, and what, geologically speaking, is going on. So let's look at a few pictures here. You could see debris right here. So these are ejectas from the hydrothermal explosion. So here it was probably right after it happened. You could see people looking. The explosion broke some of the railings right here. Another map showing here we have this pool here of clear water. So you could see that the water here is not mixing with the water there. So there are paths for water going on underground right here. So let's see if we got something good. So here, this is the broken. I will see if I can turn off the volume. Very good. So you could see here we have the path right there. If I can move it, bring it back a little bit. So here we have the path that was broken, and you can see here that we have steam coming out of the pools after the explosion. One here and one there. So you can see the water is hot. The water pressure is there. So as the water comes through the surface, we have a steam coming out. So here we have water that's most likely close to 100, let's say 80, 90, close to 100 degrees. I don't see the water bubbling. If it was much hotter, it will bubble. So you can see the creek right here. Let's see if I can take the water out. You can see the creek right here. So cold water is going through here, being heated up and going to the surface. Here's another example right here. So you can see the water steaming. So water is being heated up. And the question is, how is that happening? There was another little, okay, let's look at some of these. You see after the explosion, ejectors everywhere. And it's kind of interesting to see how powerful the steam was. Now you have to keep in mind that the steam has a lot of power. That's the whole industrial revolution comes from this idea that we have water that we heat up, and then water goes into steam and we harvest its energy. So here, this is the like a large scale. So here we have 20 miles. So in Yellowstone, we have a big caldera. So a caldera, what happens is that at some point you had magma coming from under our feet. So let's see if I can make this one bigger. So we have magma coming from under. So here we have like a final 40 mile, or let's use the 10 miles. 10 miles is 1.16 kilometers of magma pushing up. But what happened is that as the magma came out, it created a low pressure area right here. Like I say, like here, and it created what we call a caldera. So that means the upper part of the Earth's crust just sinks where magma erupted. And then we end up with like a big area. It's like a big plate that sinks, and therefore you have with times volcanic eruptions coming and filling this up over the millions of years. But because we have magma here at the top, it is hot, so it's taking water from the surface, percolating through the cracks, heating up and going back to the surface. I have some other great examples here. So here's another one. If you have, so all of these are coming from the USGS, so the United States Geological Services. And then you could see, so a caldera goes like this. There's a magma chamber. And because there's a magma chamber, we have some lava that comes out. But here the chamber is humongous. So here we have, if you look at this scale, about 25 kilometers. So if this erupts, what happens is that you end up with magma that is higher up that comes out, creating a low pressure. And therefore we have this upper crust sinking where the lava used to take place. So you can see here in the empty spots, and then here you have your caldera. But look at how the cracks that are right here. So that means that if you have a river running on the side here, the water from the river will percolate through the cracks and will go in this area where we have hot magma. And then the water goes with the magma, and what will happen? We end up with the steam coming up. Now, keeping in mind that once you have a big eruption, this eruption empties the lava chamber or the magma chamber, and then slowly new magma comes in. So from what I've seen, it seems that in the Yellowstone area, we have volcanism that happens every 700 to 800,000 years. So lots of time in between the eruptions, a lot of time for the magma to come up. Now, that being said, it seems that in Yellowstone, there hasn't been any volcanoes or volcanic eruptions for at least 600,000 years. So that means that's lots of time, maybe 100,000 or 200,000 years going up. So good. So we have here, good morning. Very happy to see you from Winoak. Very nice to hear you today. I had another good one here. So this is a great one that explains a caldera to what we have right now. So we have magmatic chamber right here. Magma came out 600,000 years or so. So here you have new magma coming from the Earth's mantle and slowly filling up this area. Now there's a difference between basaltic magma, which tends to be darker and rich in iron and magnesium, and rhyolite. And rhyolite, what's interesting is that it's an evolved magma. That means that some crystals forms containing iron and magnesium, which are heavier atoms, and therefore it sinks at the bottom, leaving at the top minerals and magma that are much more rich in calcium, sodium, and aluminum. And the results of that, there's also a lot of gas. And what we have right now, we have here a much like a dome of rhyolite. The water comes through and percolates through and heats up from the magma here. And we have here the geysers and the hot water coming to the surface. I think it's always exciting to see. So here we have, I noticed, I did not know that the USGS had a Facebook page about volcanoes. So I'm going to put all of these links in the comments once I edit the video. It's always nice to see. And they had a geologist discussing what they had. So let's look at the video again. It's always nice to see. Let's see. There we go. I'm going to turn off the sound. There's no need for it. There we go. So we have here the explosion, the ejecta, and some rocks, dirt, and sand. As soon as these came down, you could see how we have a lot of steam. And here we had a map showing where they were. Amazing explosion in here. So this is not volcanism. So people say, oh, there's a volcano starting. That's not the case. Here what we have water that is percolating through the cracks in the geology. It's heating up further down, and because of the pressure, it's a superheated water. So as soon as the water follows cracks, what will happen is it goes up where it's much less pressure, and therefore water can instantly expand and vaporize, and creating these things right here. And we had a map right here. Let's see if I can show. There you go. So here we have the craters that were created here from this hydrothermal explosion. But you could see here that the sapphire pool is still very nice, clear blue. The reason for that, so you could see that the water from here and the water from there are not touching on the ground. So here there's a lot of intricate fractures. During the time, the hot water might dissolve some minerals on its way and deposit them somewhere else, depending on water pressure. And therefore, the piping underground will have changed, was in a specific way before the explosion, and I'm sure it has changed. So here the geologists will look and see how it has changed, and they'll continue studying what they have right here. So it's very interesting to see how this is going. And this is a geology. Perfect. I'm not going to talk about this one right here. So here the beauty with this, and let's see if I can make it so we can see the explosion, which is all quite nice. There we go. Perfect. So here we had in Yellowstone an event. It's a geological event because it's something that was happening underground in the Earth's crust where there was an explosion. But it's hydrothermal explosion. That means it's hot water that exploded. If it was a volcano, we would have started to see more materials coming from underground, and we could have seen, let's see, a dome of volcanic ash or some lava coming out of the ground, which we have not seen. So this is not a volcano. I don't think there will be a volcano for a lot of time, but that's my opinion. We'll see what the future reserves for us. I think it's very interesting. If it happens you enjoyed this video on Yellowstone, don't hesitate to, first of all, subscribe to our channel. And if you have any comments, put them in the comments below. I always look at your comments from which I create videos for this channel. My goal is to answer questions, because if you have a great question and you have a great answer, what happens is that it opens up the possibility to have even better questions. And I think that's quite important when you're learning. On this, I'm going to put here a link when I edit the video for the next video you're going to watch together with.